All right, in this video, we are going to go over the example given tangent of u is equal to -2/5 with u being between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi, which you should be able to figure out which quadrant that is representing. To find the exact value, exact means you're not touching a calculator, the exact value of cosine 2u. So this was very similar to guided example number 1, so you should have used that approach to guide you while you did one on your own. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is a couple things that we could start with. You could write down the formula for this, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to draw my triangle that this information will help me give all the right details to. So 3 pi over 2 to 2 pi. Where's that? That is quadrant 4, IV, right? So I'm going to go over here. I'm just going to sketch out my X and Y axes, focusing on quadrant 4. If you think about that, 3 pi over 2 is here and 2 pi there. That's the terminal side. I'm going to put a point on that terminal side. It could really be anywhere. All the triangles will be similar. I could put it there, there, wherever. Connect it up to your x-axis. It is not drawn to scale. We just do the best that we can. And tangent of u, that's opposite over adjacent, tan𝜃. Which side is opposite? And then this is the reference angle for you. There's a lot of people that still don't know which is opposite and which is adjacent. You gotta get it, guys, okay? It's now. Do it now. Get it. Figure it out. If you're still confused, figure it out. Get help. Watch this 100 times. I don't know what to tell you. Opposite, -2. Adjacent 5. Now, it's not always going to be the -2, because if I describe that as being cotangent, then it would be adjacent over opposite. And then the negative would really go with the 5, because it would be -2 there, 5 there. Get food for thought, okay? So make sure the negative makes sense. Now, we have 2 legs. We need the hypotenuse. We want all 3 sides of the triangle. We're going to need them. So you have to just go ahead and find it. So if we use Pythagorean theorem, leg squared plus leg squared is hypotenuse squared. Remember, the hypotenuse is never negative, so we could just worry about the positive length. But a leg, if you were solving for a missing leg, that it could be positive or negative. Negative is left for x, or negative is down for y. That's 4 plus 25 equals hypotenuse squared. 29 is hypotenuse squared. Hypotenuse is then radical 29. I can't simplify that, so it just stays the way it is. So if you're good so far, give yourself a high five. You're doing great. Next, cosine of 2u is what we are trying to find. Now, we have 3 choices. I'm going to use the first one, but if you wanted to challenge yourself, you could do the second one or the third one as well and make sure you get the same answer. If you get a different answer for any 2 of the 3 or whatever, you messed up somewhere. Something's wrong. So from here, cosine 2u, all I'm going to use is cosine squared u. Make sure you make the square and the 2 different. People get confused, write their squares too big, it turns into a 2, or the 2 too small, and it turns into a square. And then when you guys copy work from each other instead of from the video, or you just fast forward the video and try to copy things down from the end, and your handwriting gets messy or whatever, you don't know what you're even writing, and that's usually how I could tell you're not doing your work. But you won't hear that because you're probably fast forwarding past me explaining stuff. So, I don't know. Minus sine squared u. Here is what I'm covering up now. You have to remember what this means. We did speak about this back when we first started doing the fundamental identities, when we did the Pythagorean, quotient, and reciprocal. There was a time where we spoke of what that means when you're evaluating. So I wrote a little note up here if you wanted to copy it down as well. But trig squared theta, what do I mean by trig? Any of the 6 trig functions, equals the trig of that theta, the sine of the angle, the cosine of it, the tangent, whatever, and then you square the answer. Some of you also were like filling in for theta, the answer, which is like √3/2. That's not an angle. An angle is like pi over 6, 30 degrees, 3 pi over 4, negative 11 pi over 6, whatever. Those are angles. And then after you take the sine of it or the cosine of it, then your answer is one of those ratios, 1/2, root 2 over 2, root 3 over 3. That's the answer. You don't write the trig anymore. Make sure we're getting that, okay? There was a lot of mistakes when we were doing angle, sum, and difference. Watch me do examples again and compare it to yours. Just because you have the same answer and your work looks wonky doesn't mean it's okay. Your work is wrong. So like if you have this weird stuff written together, no bueno. Sorry about my rant. Anyhow, that is what it means. So down here I did an example. Say I wanted tangent squared of 5 pi over 6. I would do the tan of 5 pi over 6 and then square the answer. Tangent of any angle over 6, 3 plus 3 is 6, root 3 over 3 is root 3 over 3. 5 pi over 6 is going to be in quadrant 2. Tan is negative there. So it's negative root 3 over 3, and then we square that. A negative squared is positive, root 3 squared is 3, and 3 squared is 9, and 3 over 9 reduces to 1/3. So that was just an example. Why did I go over that? Because we're going to do something similar here, but it's just not unit circle angles. So what is the cosine of u? And then square it. What is the sine of u? And then square it. Cosine of u, we could look over here. We can, in fact, we could write it down. Let's just make sure so we don't make a mistake later. Sine u, cosine u. Sine of u is opposite over hypotenuse, negative 2 over radical 29. We could rationalize that, but you don't have to. I showed you that in guided example something. But if you're checking this early, you haven't seen it yet. So let's chat. If we rationalize it though, we get negative 2 root 29 over 29. If you don't know how to rationalize it, you have to go back and relearn lesson 1 from September. Cosine of u is adjacent over hypotenuse, 5 over root 29. And again, if we rationalize that, that's 5 over root 29 over 29. Okay. Let me grab a colored pen. So that is all going over here with my side work, okay? All right, that's all there on the side. Here I'm trying to do the problem. Now, cosine of u is right there. Sine of u is right there. I recommend using the non-rationalized ones because we're going to square it. So watch how easy it is. Negative 2 over root 29 squared. I'm kidding. That's sine. It should be positive 5, right? My bad. Positive 5 over root 29 squared minus negative 2 over root 29 squared. Also, 2 and alpha aren't the same thing. 2, maybe 2. Okay, that's fine. Alpha. Not 2. Different, okay? Make sure you aren't that person that's like really making mistakes with that. Squaring the 5, we get 25. Squaring the square root of 29, a square root and a square inverse operations, it's just 29. Minus negative 2 squared is 4. Root 29 squared is 29. 25 over 29 minus 4 over 29, 21 over 29, and that is the final answer. So winner, winner, chicken dinner. There we go. Now, you could have done this using the rationalized answers, and if you did do it that way, you probably know what I mean when I'm like, it's more work, it's messier, and why this way is a little bit better. I'm just going to jot down a little bit to show you why it's annoying. But if I went from this step and use the rationalize, I would have 5 root 29 over 29 squared, for example, minus whatever. Okay, I'm just going to do the first term. 5 squared, you're going to get 25. Square root of 29 squared, you're going to get 29. 29 squared, some people aren't going to think about it too hard, and they're going to get a calculator out, and then they're actually going to square 29. I don't know what 29 squared is. I'll put it in my phone right here. I mean, it's less than 900, but 29 squared, 841. That would be a bad thing. And then if they did, I hope not, but if they did that, oof, no good. And then if they did 29 times 25, then they're dealing with this 725 over 841. No, okay? First of all, that would be bad. If you had done it this way, I hope that you were efficient enough to do the following. 5 squared is 25. Square root of 29 squared is 29. 29 squared is just 29 times 29. Why am I doing this? Because I can reduce 29 over 29, and you still get the 25 over 29, ... continue, whatever you need to do. So you could do the other part that way. But that is bad, and that is sad. This is okay, but this is the best. Well, maybe not the best, but better. All right, so I hope that you, one way or another, were able to get the right answer. And I hope that you understand the pros and cons to the stuff I showed you over here. And I hope that you're doing okay. So if you got the right answer, thumbs up. If you got it wrong or want more explanation, even if you got it right, whatever, thumbs down. It's anonymous. I don't know who it's from. So good luck.